Welcome back again to the Well Woman podcast, and my name is Sandy Gloria, also known as Tammy. I hope you all had a great week. I did. And so today on the podcast, I have a very wonderful guest. Her name is Barrister Peace Eze of Peace Legal in Calgary, and this guest is very dear to my heart. First of all, I love her sense of style. When I first met her in church, I was like, wow, you look good. Me, I'm never shy of, telling a woman that I see that looks good, and like, you look so good. And most times I'll tease her, I'm coming to your house to raid your closet. This woman, as in, when I met her, there was this strength that exuded from her. I knew that this strength was not strength of just today. It's a strength that comes with, like, I have fought battles and I have won them. Some I've cried through them. I knew that about her. And so while I was saying, okay, which guest is going to come on this show, I went to her and I was like, I know you have a wonderful story, because when I look at your Facebook post, I see you always singing, even in, after having some court cases. I was like, I want to know who is behind all these songs, all these victories, all this joy you're exuding. So today, well, people, we have here with us Barrister Peace Eze. Welcome to the Well Woman podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
it's a privilege to be here, and I don't take that for granted.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
I'm good. Yes, enjoying the weather.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Barrister Peace, before all this, you singing on Facebook like you always do, this elegant woman, I want us to draw the curtain and kind of tell us a little bit about you, your story, your pivot to Canada. I don't know where you grew up and all that. Yeah.
All right. I was born in Canada and raised in Nigeria. So I did all of my schooling in Nigeria before returning to Canada. So coming back to Canada, I didn't know where to belong because I couldn't even access the immigrant services, because when I go there, they say I'm not eligible. So I wasn't so pleased with that. So I started discovering myself. That made me to say, oh, Peace, what is in Canada for you? So when I came in, I came with 3 of my kids. They were really, I think they were under 5, 3 under 5, all by myself with God. Wow. So it wasn't an easy path. It was a struggle. Sometimes I asked myself, are you sure you don't want to go back? And then come back when they're like maybe 14 or 15, much older. But my mom would always say, you don't postpone your task, because it will keep waiting for you. So, and I drew strength from there. It wasn't easy, but here we are. It's like,
wow, that's like 3 children under 5. I only had 2. I was like, it feels like I'm going crazy sometimes. Wow. So, law, I know, was that what you've always done back home?
Yes.
Okay.
So right from my high school, I had already known that I would be going for law. So I think we call it senior secondary school, SS1, and that's like grade 10 in Canada. I had already known. So I went to one of the seniors, because I was living in the boarding school, she had this government note that she needs me to help her copy. So as I was doing that, it became interesting because it was all about democracy. So I went back to her. I can't even remember her name because I want to even go and say thank you to her. So I went back to her that time. I said, oh, what is this? And she said, oh, it's government. If you want to study law or political science, you need to do these courses, take these courses. So the next day, that SS1, I went to the counselor. There's a counselor in every school. So I went to him. I said, oh, this. What can someone do with this? He said, oh, law or political science. Immediately I said, okay, I found my course. So I went for it, even though my principal wasn't so happy because he saw me in the arts class. So she was like, no, you don't belong to the arts class. Go to the science class. They had to call my dad, and my dad said, no, I think this is what she wants. Let's just respect that. So
Wow. Thank God for
from grade 10.
a
Yeah.
supportive dad. You know, I grade 10. I think they chose my path for me, but a lot of kids don't even know what they want to do right at that time. So that was very good figuring that out. So when you moved, I know you said something that you called your mom. What emotions were going through you that period when you were transitioning back to Canada as an adult with children?
Yeah, I think it started right from the very first time we boarded the flight to Canada. They were all crying. And I had to deal with it in the plane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, is this what I'm going to face? And then when I came in and then I saw it, and because I've been coming, I come in and I go back. So most people felt, I think you have a lot to deal with. You have a lot to deal with. Let us back up a little bit and leave you so that you can figure out what you actually came here to do.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had this doubt, and I had this doubt of not knowing what tomorrow would bring, whether I can even do this. And I keep on asking myself, what if I fall sick? What if I die? When would my husband even get here?
Wow.
So all those thoughts kept coming and coming. But the thing is, if you're a believer or if you're someone of faith, you need to resort to the Bible and take the word of God and tell yourself in the mirror, I can do this. There are single mothers doing this every day, raising the bars for, let alone people that are married. So I think I took those comfort from the Bible. I took also the strength from people that I see or I've read about them as well. So it helped me a lot.
Wow.
And then I was focused.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of people all around me. It was just me, the children, my God, the church, and my work and my study. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very, very interesting. Like, I wonder how, like, people without something that they believe in, how different it looks, right? At least you had the Bible to always go back to say, hey, Lord, you're my guide, right? So what was like life in Canada? Because now this was back in Nigeria and you came in here. I hear you say you keep without your husband. So what was support like for you then? And
I think God brought someone, like she was really, I don't even take her for granted even now, because I met her on my way to work. And then we got talking, we exchanged numbers. She's someone that really likes to help. So I think God brought her at that moment. She would come and take care of the children while I'm at work. I don't know how she would go and pick them from daycare. So God brought her. I think He made my life easier that time. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thank God for support.
Yes.
So can you take us back to a moment, it could even be right now, where maybe even in your career as a lawyer and a mom and everything to everybody else, where something had to shift?
Yeah, I think when I was on maternity leave, it was so boring for me, the whole 1 year. I'm like, no, I can't stay idle. And I'm very introverted, so I'm not someone that you see outside. So it became very boring. I stopped because that time CNN had some issues with people, the mass killing or something. So it got to me, I got traumatized, so I stopped watching. And then I started asking myself, what is in this life? There must be something in this life. So I went on YouTube. I got Joel Osteen, some of his books. I started reading them, and then my mindset kind of shifted that, oh, Peace, you are more than what you are right now, and you can actually do more. So it actually helped me. So when I got my adequate position, so the adequate position is what you have to do for a year for you to be called to the bar. So when I got there, it's the story for another day, but I think God took me there to teach me tenacity and even smiling in the midst of chaos. Wow. So it wasn't a pleasant journey, but I thank God that I went through that journey because I think I needed it to thrive. So I went in there, and after the adequate, I became someone even better. because God took me through a rocky path through that year. And at time I wanted to quit. And my husband would say, oh, we're not going to die because you want to practice law. I think you need to resign. Yeah. And then another he will say, oh, what if God wants you to go through this path?
Wow.
So why can't you stay? This is not going to kill you. And for real, it did not. But I actually, it brought something like, he gave birth to something more. And that is what has been helping me even now. So I thank God for that year. It was the year that I will never forget.
This isn't just a t-shirt, it's a declaration that I'm protecting my peace and I'm choosing rhythm over hustle. Yes, self-care is my birthright. And if you need to grab yours, you can go to our website www.rtsbystandygloria.com and shop our t-shirt. Self-care is not a luxury, it's not a necessity, it's our birthright. And whatever self-care means to you, that's what it is. Cheers to protecting your peace.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, like say you will not die because you want to do law. I know that most times we ask ourselves that question, say, this is what you want to do this thing. Everybody don't go die because of you happy, right? Yeah. So in the midst of your journey, right, starting doing your law and everything, what new voice? I know you just said something about like reading about Joel Osteen and his books, but what new voice did you kind of find inside yourself? I know you just said something about tenacity, right? Yeah. And like, so yes, there was that shift. Yes, that you read those books, but what did it exactly look like? So what did you tell yourself? Like, peace, this is like, what was that voice?
I think the voice is that you are more than what you're doing right now, and you can be better. And you have all it takes. God has given you all it takes. There was a time I was praying. I said, God, please, can you bless me? Can you do this? Can you do this? And the voice that I heard was, shh, I've given you everything that you need. You are not just using them. So, and I still remember those words because I don't think I'm using everything. So sometimes you're like, okay, God, can you help me? But God has given you all that you need to thrive. But you are not just in that moment to even use those things, because maybe there's self-doubt and those voices that keep on coming that you don't know how to actually shut them up to say, no, I don't want to hear from you. So it's a constant exercise to even be in where God wants you to be or fulfill the purpose, because those voices will keep coming. But it's about how do you shut those voices up that they don't overwhelm you and overpower what God wants you to be.
Very, very interesting, because lately I've been seeing everywhere about the imposter syndrome. I didn't even really think about it until even when I finished school, and I found that when I got my first job in the ICU, I doubted myself. I was like, so lately I've been, this is what they call the imposter syndrome. Like, so as you just said that, like, God has given you everything that you need to thrive, right? So it's not about asking him to bless you. He has already blessed us, right? Wow, that's so, I think when you just have that revelation, it makes everything easier. Wow, thank you. Okay, so we're just going to ask another question. So looking at where you are today, right, how would you describe your current season and life, and purpose?
I would call it a season of joy and a season of dancing in the rain. So everything can be perfect. You just have to learn how to dance in the rain. And dancing in the rain means that you have to keep your emotional intelligence in check.
To shed more light on that.
And not let whatever that is happening around you overwhelm or trump where you're going. You are on a mission. It's just like driving through Deerfoot and you see an accident. Yes, we should pray for them. We can pray for them. But you don't stop and say, oh, I'm not going to work right now because this happened. So you keep moving even though you have already said some prayers for whatever that has happened. So in life too, things will happen. Even in your marriage, even in everywhere, things will happen. Even in your relationship with people. But emotional intelligence will help you to navigate those rocky paths.
I know a lot of people like, what is even that emotional intelligence? I can understand it because as nurses, they kind of teach us that a little bit, but it's something that you kind of continually have to learn, right? Some people don't even know what that means. Can you just shed more light on that?
Yeah, basically, I would say in basic terms, emotional intelligence is just keeping your emotion. I know people say, oh, this is who I am. I'm always mad. I always say it as it is. No. You can't say it as it is. The only time you should say it as it is when you're saying, oh, you're beautiful. Yeah. Or you look great. Or you did well. But whenever it's on the other side, we have to learn, because we're not the recipient of our words. Somebody is receiving even what we're doing or even our actions. So we have to be mindful of how our actions are being interpreted.
Yeah.
If I'm mad, if I'm at work and someone made me mad, do I need to go all out? So I call it the EIQ, the emotional intelligence quotient. You need to assess it. And if it's on the low, there are books, there are things that you can, thank God for social media right now, right? People are talking about EIQ because you need it to thrive. As you're journeying through life, you need to have high emotional intelligence quotient for you to thrive. Otherwise, you can miss out even on deals or contracts. How do you deal with your spouse? How do you deal with your coworker? How do you deal with your clients? It's that emotional intelligence that would help you to navigate that. Otherwise, marriage would crash, relationship would crash, clients would go away. Even though you are the best at time.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Even though you are the best at time, if you don't have that EI.
Yes.
Wow, I can see that. Very funny. I can see that. I think I've heard someone say, I keep losing my job. And one day I was tempted to ask, was like, are you sure that it's not you?
Yeah.
Because you can't keep blaming everybody, right?
Yes.
Maybe your EI is not doing
That's
something.
True.
Wow, okay. That's very interesting. Okay. How does your journey now connect back to, helping women rise in their calling?
So in my office, I think I have more of the women working in Peace Legal, and I do understand, because I know what I went through when I came in, even the logistic of knowing where to keep your children. If you're working after hours, like if you're working after daycare hours, who would take care of your children? How much are you even earning to pay someone apart from the subsidized daycare we're getting from the government? So it has actually helped me to understand. So when some of them come in and say, oh, I need this, I need that, I understand because I've gone through it. And because I've gone through it doesn't mean that they should also go through it. So it has helped me to understand that kindness is a thing that you need to share all the time. And not weakness. I'm not talking about being weak and saying yes to everything, but you have to be human enough to know that this person needs help and I need to help this person. And I don't call it a podcast, but I have this forum where I listen to calls, people calling and they need advice, and especially women on marriage and career. So I also give my own 2 cents.
Nice. Wow,
yes.
That is very interesting. I think you said that before, but now it's kind of like, oh, that's true. You're giving back to the community by doing this. Your time, your expertise. That is very awesome work you're doing.
Thank you.
You're very doing awesome. So I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to be a well woman?
So I believe to be a well woman is that you come not as a spotless bride. Okay, you have all your flaws, but so being well doesn't mean that you don't have flaws. So well is recognizing your flaws, appreciating your strengths, and believing in what God has put in you, and also work on your flaws. Keep working on your flaws. Keep improving. So I have this slogan. I said I am team no full stop. There's no full stop.
Wow. Yeah.
So you need to keep moving in the right direction, and that's my own definition of well woman. You need to emotionally, mentally, financially, and then another thing is you need to always ask yourself, am I a woman of value? And I've gone beyond even woman of value, and I tell people, be a person of high value. It's not only just being a value, but you should be highly valued enough. And how do you make sure that you're highly valued? By improving yourself, recognizing your flaws and saying, no, I'm not perfect, I need to work on this. All of us have something we're working on, and not say, oh, take me as I am. This is me. This is what I'm bringing to your table. If you don't like it,
Right.
take it or leave it. No.
Nice. Yeah. One last question. What would you tell any woman or anybody listening right now? Like, I know your 2 cents, but it's not like you're giving advice. But what would you tell someone who is probably have navigated your season, like your past season or even your current season? What would you tell that woman or that person who will be listening to this podcast right now? What's that one advice you would give to them?
Thank you. That's a great question. One advice, and it's from experience, nothing lasts forever. Whatever season, if it's a season that you're still trying to discover yourself, and you feel, oh, my counterparts are doing this or doing that, it doesn't really matter. That season will pass. If you're raising toddlers, think about the children. The last day you came back from the hospital, the next time you're talking about daycare, the next time you're talking about choosing school, and that's how life is. And what I tell myself, the thing that you cannot fix is death, physically.
Yeah.
But any other thing you can fix. It's just time. Time will fix it. So that's what I'll tell them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is. I'm actually reflecting on that myself. Okay, I'm reflecting. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Like, this was very reflective even for me. Like, there's so many things that I myself learned right now. So well, women, everyone, I hope we enjoyed this podcast. Like she said, there was something that I really, I think for me, I'm also taking, nothing lasts forever. And yes, this is also what the well woman is about. We're not about perfection, but we have to keep improving ourselves. We have to keep remain valuable, and not just valuable now, highly valuable. That's how we keep relevant, and that's how we get the respect and and our EI. Oh my God, I really love that. See, you can't just be everywhere and say, take me as I am.
Yeah.
No. We have to do things well, and that is also what it means to be a well woman, able to regulate your emotions, and it's the good thing is we're all a work in progress. So wherever you are in your journey, it might be at the beginning or the middle, and most times seasons, it always starts again at the beginning. But like she said, that is the only thing we can't change. So give yourself some time, some grace, and know that it's a journey. And also, God has given us everything that we need. So it's not about asking Him to bless us more, but how are we even stewarding the things that He has given us? So, well, woman, I'll leave you with that, to reflect about that. And if you want to connect with Barrister Peace, please go to the Well Woman Collective Circle and click on her profile, and it'll take you directly to her. And I hope you really enjoyed this podcast. Please like, please subscribe, and please share with your friends. We really appreciate your support. I hope you have a wonderful week. See you next week.